I was doing a little bit of work today, cleaning off my desk, and I found something that I forgot that I had. Um, in November of 2022, before he was the director of the FBI, Kash Patel wrote a book. And no, it was not part of his series of children's books. The Plot Against the King, or The Plot Against the King 2, 2,000 Mules. Yeah, I actually bought them. And I did dramatic readings of them earlier this year. I don't know, probably February or January, where I read them in front of my fireplace, fire going. Those videos are up on my YouTube page if you want to go find them. Link in the link tree in my bio. But November 2022, he published a book called Government Gangsters. It was about the deep state. So it was roughly on the same reading level as his children's books, and contained about as much factual substance as his children's books. But his overall point was that there is a deep state in Washington, D.C. That controls the government regardless of what the people want. And specifically, the deep state had been very united in trying to subvert the presidency of Fat Nixon, Pervert Hoover, Groper Cleveland, Mango Mussolini, Tangerine Tits, Donald Trump, who's still a convicted felon. An appendix to that book, an add-on at the end of that book, was his list of 60 people who are in the deep state. People that he says need to be prosecuted, and need to be prosecuted immediately for the good of the country. One of the reasons that the MAGA base is so angry at Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and Dan Bongino, the number 2 guy at the FBI, is that those 3 people have held those 3 positions for almost 7 months. With the full power of the FBI, the Department of Justice, and the executive branch behind them, they have not investigated any of these people. They have not indicted any of these people. They have not arrested any of these people, nor have they prosecuted any of these people in 7 months. And so I thought it would be fun to take a couple minutes and go through Kash Patel's deep state list. Lloyd Austin, Secretary of Defense under President Biden, because he had minor surgery and wound up in the hospital and didn't tell anybody, which is bad. You shouldn't do that. Should you be prosecuted for that? Bill Barr, Donald Trump's handpicked Attorney General. John Bolton, Donald Trump's handpicked National Security Advisor. Joe Biden. John Brennan, former director of the CIA under Obama, one of the Russiagate people. John Carlin, acting Deputy Attorney General and former head of the National Security Division at DOJ during the Russiagate investigation by the FBI. That sounds like a bad guy. Pat Cipollone, Donald Trump's handpicked White House counsel. James Clapper, former Director of National Intelligence, the position that Tulsi Gabbard holds. Hillary Clinton. James Comey, former FBI Director. Mark Esper, Donald Trump's handpicked Secretary of Defense. Alyssa Farah, Donald Trump's handpicked Director of Strategic Communications. Merrick Garland, I might kind of be with him on that one. Stephanie Grisham, former press secretary for Donald Trump, former chief of staff for Melania Trump. Kamala Harris, Gina Haspel, Donald Trump's handpicked director of the CIA. Eric Holder, Obama's Attorney General. Robert Hur, special counsel. He is a U.S. attorney who was appointed by Trump. He was selected to be special counsel by Joe Biden to investigate Joe Biden. Cassidy Hutchinson, who House and Senate Republicans can't subpoena to testify because she has so many X-rated text messages from Senate and House Republicans. And she's like, you subpoena me, I'm going to release those. Lois Lerner, former director of the IRS under President Obama. You remember how she was targeting right-wing organizations? Andrew McCabe, former deputy director of the FBI under President Trump. Dennis McDonough, Obama's former chief of staff. Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff under Trump. Robert Mueller. Let me see, we got Samantha Power, former ambassador to the United Nations under President Obama. Huh? Susan Rice, former NSA under Obama. Rod Rosenstein, former deputy attorney general under Trump, who appointed he didn't appoint Robert Mueller. What did Rosenstein do? He did something that pissed off Trump. I can't remember what it was, but it was, what was that little guy's name? The little Dennis the Menace looking guy that Trump picked to be attorney general who appointed Bob Mueller. Rod Rosenstein, I just said him. Peter Strzok, former deputy assistant director of the FBI's counterintelligence division, because he had an affair with another woman and they texted each other mean things about Donald Trump. Michael Sussman, this one was curious. Former legal representative for the Democratic National Committee and former partner at Parkins Coy, a law firm that Donald Trump issued an executive order against. And I believe they fought it and won. Miles Taylor, former DHS official under Trump, who Trump is now directed the DOJ to investigate in the FBI. Andrew Weissman, former deputy under special counsel Robert Mueller. Andrew Weissman, he's on MSNBC and The Bulwark all the time. He was Robert Mueller's lead courtroom prosecutor for the Mueller investigation. Christopher Wray, Donald Trump's handpicked FBI director. Sally Yates, former deputy attorney general under Obama, and she was also acting attorney general under Trump. Pat Philbin, former deputy White House counsel under Donald Trump. John Podesta, inextricably linked to the Clintons and the Obamas, and I think it was his email account that the Russians catfished, where, and I'm not kidding about this, there were lots of emails about ordering pizza. And they would use abbreviations in their email threads, like Order CP, which stood for cheese and pepperoni. The QAnon MAGA folks read Order CP as Order Child Pornography. That's where the whole Pizzagate thing came from. I'm really not kidding. And because they were in and near Washington, D.C., they used to order pizzas from Comet Pizza all the time, which is the pizza place that QAnon said they have a basement. That's where Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin are doing the whole frazzle drip adrenochrome thing, and they're harvesting small children. I'm really, really not kidding. It came from emails about ordering pizzas. Yeah. So anyway, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and what's her name, Pam Bondi, have been in office for 7 months. None of these people have been investigated, indicted, arrested, or prosecuted, and the MAGA base is getting mad. And that has all been compounded by there's no Epstein list, there was no blackmail, we're not prosecuting this any further, and we're closing this file, we're not going to release anything further. So MAGA's having a big crash out because Donald Trump chose to put a bunch of incompetent boobs in positions of tremendous importance. Go figure.